Hi everyone, Tiny here with Tiny's Garden. I am getting ready to transplant these very tiny Lisianthus babies up with this organic seed starting espoma seed starting mix. I am going to transplant them up to these bigger cells that I can bottom water with for them to grow on into until I plant them out in the garden. This will allow their little roots to grow and have more room as opposed to the soil blocks, because the Lisianthus takes so long to go from a seed to a bloom. So I really want them to have that extra space as opposed to things like Snapdragon, stock. They'll be fine in the soil blocks all the way till I put them in the garden. My last video I explained what terrible germination I had, and I did, but I wanted to show you that I am getting some more. So it has paid off in being more diligent, making sure that these soil blocks do not dry out. There is a little algae, but that's not a huge deal. I can sprinkle some cinnamon on and it will be fine. So I am gaining some. Thank you to everyone who commented on that video. I am sure now that it is my fault. I had a feeling it was because I let them dry out too much, but it's amazing after a year of, having the twins, going through all that. I think my pregnancy brain might still be with me because I forgot to use the vermiculite. That helps a lot. I am going to spread some vermiculite on top of these once I transplant them. So all your reminders were very helpful and very constructive and friendly. So thanks to all of you, my garden gals and guys. Welcome to my laundry room, where I wanted to show you how I clean my cell trays. These are from last year. Some of them have been in the greenhouse, so I want to clean them with dish soap and water to make sure that I get all the bacteria out of there, because I don't want my new seedlings to be susceptible to any of that. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just come through, put some soap in there, and then wash. Also, let me switch hands. Can come in with a scrubber if needed, and of course get all the leaves out. And then I let them dry over here, and they're set to go. The soil I'm using to transplant these up is the Espoma Organic Seed Starter Premium Potty Mix. I am not using any old soil from bags that were open last year, because I did that once and it was mold city. So definitely use new soil and the new cells you're transplanting your Lisianthus up to. I really like Pro Mix as well, but this is what I could get my hands on the quickest. So I do recommend either Pro Mix, the seed starting kind, or the regular compost kind is good as well at this point to transplant your Lisianthus up into, or this one is a great one. There are definitely some that are better than others, so I recommend those too. Now this is no longer soil blocks. This is going to be in cell trays, so my water to soil ratio is going to be less, i.e. less water than with soil blocks. I've got my water in here, so now let's see if it's the right ratio. I want to be able to lightly pack and form a ball without it falling apart, but I don't want water draining. So if I press really hard, there's a little bit of water draining. Not too bad though. Oh, no, too much. I need to add more soil. Let's try this again. So I've added more soil. I'm gonna come in here, lightly pack. Now if I press hard, no soil is dripping out. That's a good sign. Also, if I let go, it still is strong enough to stay together. We're ready to put our soil into our cell trays. The cell trays I'm using are this 50 cell tray from Johnny's Select Seeds. I also have a white bottom watering tray that has no holes. That's important. Lisianthus do prefer to be bottom watered. And I also have these 25 cell trays that are from Gardener's Supply. This, I believe, is called the Seed Starting Success Kit. I'll put the name on the screen. It actually comes with a riser here and then a wicking sheet to bottom water your seeds that way. But for these Lisianthus that I'm transferring up, I'm just using the bottom watering tray and the top tray. And then I'm just going to fill this tray with this soil that I've just prepared, and I'll come through and put little divots in so I can drop my soil blocks over there into a hole. Now we're officially ready to start transplanting. I've got holes that I just poked my fingers in, one in each cell, to drop these blocks in. My Lisianthus are looking a lot better than the last time I showed you. There is some algae, but it's not a big deal. When I transplant them up into here, I will come in and sprinkle with some cinnamon on top. That will help. I can also scrape part of it off. But shout out to all you garden gals and guys who helped me in the last video. I definitely just dropped the ball and did not keep my little Lisianthus wet enough, or moist enough, I should say. So I didn't have great germination. But since then, I've been really diligent about making sure that I'm watering them more consistently and not letting them dry out as much. And I've had more germinate. So we're doing better, everybody. We're doing better. For example, some of these little Lisianthus and even the ones that are in the cracks here, I can still transplant up and use. So it's definitely a win. Here's even one itsy bitsy teeny weeny one that has just started to germinate. I can still use that. So don't give up. Just make sure you're keeping them moist and watered frequently and consistently, and you should have more germination come. This is a really good one. You can see at the bottom, it's white root there. So I come in, I'm gonna nestle that in there, tuck in beside it, just like that. Add extra soil if I need to, and it is all set. And then I move on to the next one. Oh, I gotta show you this one. It is good size, and a few actually white roots out at the bottom. So that's so good. Make sure as you're going through here that you're really checking in between the blocks too. You can see I've got one there and one there. You don't wanna miss those. Those are still good Lisianthus. So be very delicate as you're pulling these apart. Now this one right here that is an in-between blocker, I'm just going to delicately separate it, being sure I don't break the root from the other one. There we go. And now I can take this and just directly put it in the soil. And there it is, planted just fine. Just be delicate with these where you're handling the root bare because they are delicate. So be mindful of that. First tray is all transplanted. And this dusting of brown stuff is cinnamon that I told you about to fight off algae. I got a little heavy-handed over here, but it should be okay. Some of these cells, I put more than one if they were very tiny. There's several cells where I've got 2 or 3, and I might lose, one or 2 of them, and that's okay. That's why I took the time and planted a few in one cell if they were teeny tiny. Now, if they're really healthy and big like this, I definitely just did 1. So their roots can really take up all the space in the cell. But something as teeny tiny as that, I went ahead and did 2. If they both make it, they should still have enough room. And if only one makes it, then I didn't waste an extra cell on a teeny tiny one. But looking good. First tray done. I look like I just had an all-nighter or something. I don't know. This is what I look like, so it is what it is. This is transplanting Lisianthus for you. I've got several trays to go, so I'm going to speed through these and then I'll show you everything at the end. It is a little tedious because I am scraping some of that algae off, but this is the last time I'll have to transplant them before they go up into my raised beds in the garden. So it's worth it. It's worth it when these beauties come to life in their bloom. Hello everyone, garden gals and guys. It is now March 12th and I still don't have all my Lisianthus transplanted. I want to finish that today, and then I also want to get my snapdragons seeded and hopefully stock too, because on Friday, 2 days from today, it will be 7 weeks till my last frost day. So there's been a lot going on. Both of my husband's parents have been in the hospital for over a month, but I think they're gonna be okay now. So it's just been even more stressful than usual. So reminding myself, grace over guilt, which is my mantra this year, and we're gonna keep going. You'll hear my fan back there, but my soil is a little soggy. I'm finding that when I'm bottom watering it in these, it's getting a little too wet. So I'm going to try and use a big sprayer instead. But the good news is they're looking good. And here's the bottom tray, also looking pretty good. Now here's where we take a little turn for not looking as good. You can see that some mold is starting to grow on these. I think that's mold from just being watered so much that algae has turned. But this is what I'm going to pot up, and this, and that's it. So when I say this, it's like this little area and this. Those are Iceland poppies. So I'm gonna focus on that first, get them all transplanted up, and then they're done. And I just take care of them until I put them out in the garden, hopefully a couple weeks before my last frost. So let's get to it. I did it. Oh, my son's drawing. We finished, and I have a positive update. So let's take a look at the last tray I did. Here they are. Finally, all my Lizzie babies are transplanted up. I just sprayed a little water on to settle everything in at the end there. So the positive thing is I went through, I counted all of these that have been transplanted up, as well as the big tray and what I just did. So everything that I have. In my last video, I was telling you 135 had germinated, but from what I counted, with all of these, I have 201. So I'm a happy camper. That means that about 70 more germinated from when I was telling you that I think I let them dry out too much. I'm just not having a good germination year, etc. And so it goes to show, if you're not having great germination, really be diligent about keeping them moist and watering them, as opposed to too dry, and you might have some come back, because I had over 70. So I knew that some were definitely showing more germination as I was more diligent, but I didn't realize till I just counted all of these that it was that many. So I'm happy to have that little comeback. That's a win, my friends. That's a win. I'm so glad that's over with. That took me a long time this year to transplant them up, and that's okay. That's okay. So that'll be it for this video. I will keep you posted as I try and catch up here with snapdragons as we go, but I think that's gonna be it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Do tell me how your Lisianthus are doing this far along. You've probably transferred them up or are thinking about it, so let me know how your supply is doing. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps my channel grow. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to follow along with all things garden. Thank you for your support. We'll see you in the next one. Happy planting. Bye.